Hello. I'm guessing everyone can hear me all right. Um, Pretty sure everything should be working as intended. Um, yeah, I don't see any issues right now. Okay. So we're back in our development of our Shiny app. Maybe opening here my Google Chrome. Go to localhost 8080. Just to have it right here open. I'm gonna make my inspect element here a little bit smaller. And let me go here so that we have it in our little predetermined format. Cool. So I'm gonna go into my terminal. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can read it all right. And now let me go to projects slash this bigger. There you go. So last time, let me run the app, port 8080, and I don't want to launch my browser. Launch browser. Browser equals false. Cool. So we were right here. We created a database for our users. Once we logged in, our information was retrieved. That means, well, I got my age and my weight. The ones that I saved is if I save this and change my weight to 76 and I update my metrics, next time I go back in and log in, it should be right there. Right? So I have this set as this user information, but I was guessing this is okay for now. Later on, I might want to add a timestamp to the weight because you may want to see the progress of how your weight's been changing. But I'm gonna that can go in later. What I want to get done is my exercises right here. Save them somewhere every time I add a new exercise. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Cool. So if we look at the code for the exercises, right here, new exercises saved. First, I check if the user is authorized, and I create a new exercise, right? Which is just a list where the name is the input exercise name, the nodes are whatever nodes you have in, and you have an image URL. I changed the names of the new exercise, right? This to whatever the name of the exercise is. And I appended two users exers. If I take a look at users exers, it's just a list, right? And I use this list to then go and create the UI. Cool. So I want to be able to save my user's information about his exercises inside the database. So let me take this, let me open it right here. Let me bring it right here. That's me there. So as I had the database set up, I have my exercises right here in this table, in the exercises table, right? So I'm going to be having to fetch the UID and like go and filter out on this table, right? So a cool thing about lists is that you can represent them as a JSON. So let me open R right here, right? So I'm going to bring in the library JSON Lite, which allows me to convert R objects into JSON and the other way around. So if I create a list, let's have it with the first. Okay, I lost connection there for a second, but I should be back. Okay, okay, I don't know why I'm losing data. Um, I might drop the bit rate a little bit. So, okay, drop my bit rate to 10,000. I don't know if it's the YouTube servers or if it's just me. It's probably just me. I think there it is. Okay, cool. So I have this list. Let me set this as just an array of 1 to 10, right? So this is how you would see it in R. If I pass this on to JSON light, so let me save it as my test list to this. And if I use to JSON test list, it's gonna be this whole string that's right here will allow me to save the whole data inside the list. So if I do, for example, from JSON and I paste this string here, it's gonna bring back the list, right? So I can save all the exercises information inside a single string that I can save into my database. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So here, users exers, I define it here in the React values, but I don't want to define it here in the React values. Well, I do user exers, but I want it to be blank, right? And I want whenever this gets updated, right, the user auth and the user UID, then I want to have my information be updated, right? So similar to this observe, where I fetch that data, and in case that data does not exist, I write it. I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but for exercises, right? So I'm gonna have this here. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna paste it right here. Right? So this should be the exact same, right? So the UID, again, user ID, but now instead of fetching the table users, I'm going to say exercises, right? I'm going to be fetching the table for exercises. Cool. So, is that how I called it? Exercises? Yeah, exercises, right? Cool. So I want to filter where the UID is equal to the UID, and I want to collect. Perfect. So now this would not be user data, right? Because this is going to be user exercises. Let's not set it to a user's data, to a reactive value that I don't connect. Let's just call this exers df. Still data frame, right? So now if exers df has no data, then I'm going to write a data frame where UID is equal to UID. And here I want to write, how do you call it? Exercises. Yeah. So here I want exercises to be equal to this. This just represents an empty JSON. So that means it has no data. And I'm going to write this table. So this table would be exers df. The name here would be exercises. And I would have to change here this to exers df. Cool. Great. Fetch user info. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. Cool. Okay, so I've written to the database this information, right? So after all of this is done, um, I would need the following to happen. I would need to have exers df exercises, right? So this would be the actual user. Is it user or users? User. Exers, right? Be able to exers df. Gonna pipe it into from JSON, and yeah, that should be it. From JSON, and this should give me back the list. Let me run the app. I want to see if it fails immediately. So here in exercises should be empty, right? Perfect. I can still add a new exercise. I've been writing exercises wrong this whole time. Okay, I'll have to change that. Test. I'm gonna set URL. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so let me change that. So exer. That's not how you write that. So this would be exer. That's how you write it. There you go. Now it's all changed. Yeah, I've been writing exercise wrong this whole time. Yeah. Cool. I don't even have to change it in the database because or maybe I do need to change it in the database then. Sudo Postgres form SQL shiny fitness. Yep. So let me drop table exercises, create table exercises, and here in the diagram so UID is going to be text, and I don't have to put equal. UID text, and the other one would be exercises text. This should work. Yep. I need to alter table exercises owner 2 shiny fitness. There we go. So once again, this should work. Should not fail. Yep, perfect. Cool. So now I have this where I create my exercises. And I fetched them. So now I want, when I write a new exercise, right? When I press new exercise save, what I actually want to do is fetch the data again. So do this fetch. Let me copy it. New exercise user auth. Yep. So I want to do this fetch for exers df. And now that I have this, I can just have exers, right, equal to exers df, exercises. I can just put this inside. I don't have to pipe it in. From JSON. Cool. So I have my exercises right there. So then, oh no, this just lists the exercises. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'll do it later on. Okay, then it's right, where is it? Update user info now. New exercise save, here it is. So right here, what I want to do is fetch that data. So now I'm going to go back and copy it. I want to fetch this data, right? Whenever I hit to create a new exercise, then I'm gonna exers will be equal to exers df. Let me just do it right here from JSON. Exers df. Right. So the new exercise, this would be the exact same thing. It's gonna get this list and do this, but right here, when I append it, I'm not gonna append it to, I'm gonna put here exers. No, user exers is fine. User exers will be equal to user exers append new exer. Cool. So this is exactly what I want to happen. Yep, this is right. But then before updating it, or it could be after. No, I'm going to do it before updating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to redefine exers. So yeah, before doing this, I'm just having exers. We'll be able to use our exers, and I'm going to append the data. So now this would be just exers would be exers, right? Because what if the user has updated that data before in another device? Yep, I would have here exers. So exers would be equal to exers, and I'm going to append the new exer. Then I'm going to db. I'm going to write the table, and I will have to replace that exact line. So I'm going to write this for now, and I'm going to open up my query, update user info. So what I do here is this update, right? So update user info. Here it just checks if there is any user data. But we did that check already. Cool, so I'm gonna copy this function. Let me copy it and let me paste it right here so that I can edit it. So here, update exercises. So this would be a function of pretty much just the new exer, right? Let me BSP might start with an R, so I can go ahead and copy code. Cool. So the only thing I'm gonna have to put into that, did I have to put a con in this one's? Yeah. So I'm gonna need a connection too. And the UID. So con and UID. Cool. So UID input is gonna be as character UID user data. This would be table con. Here instead of users, go down here. Right here. So here instead of users, it would be exercises, right? Exercises. And filter UID equals, yeah, this is quite perfect. So now here exers would be equal to from JSON user data exercises. Cool. So right here, I don't need this part. This part I don't need either. But what I do need is to check if the new exercise is valid. Let me do those checks, right? So the names of new exer would have to be name, notes, and the image URL. Right. That's what it, yeah, that's what it has to be. So so I would have to do like a per map of new exer. This new exer is in itself a list. It has a little key. So map new exer. No, so first I want to check if it's duplicated, right? I don't want it to be duplicated. So if names new exer, if it's in exers, well, in names exers, then what I would need to do is bring back an error. Stop. Yeah, I would need to do this. I can remove this already. So I want to stop exercise duplicated. Yep, so that should stop. Cool. Then I want to do a check for per map. So wait now. If I have a list, it's equal to another list, and this list has arg1, which is equal to 2, for example. Let me say this is test. So if I do test 1, yep. So now this stupid algorithm. So if names new exer1 are equal to, well, no, how would that work? So if I have test2, for example, in test and test2, true, right? So this one has to be inside of this, and this has to also be inside of this. And I have here test3. That means it's missing one. Since the user puts it from the app, it shouldn't have any error. But so now I just want to check if char new exer1, and instead of that one I want to check name. No, actually, so yeah, no, if I want, okay, and char names new exer. So if this is equal to 0, or if it's smaller than 1, stop no name given to exercise. Why could this be important? Okay, I have a chat. So there's a question from Blue Resolve. I can't see the timestamp because YouTube's dumb. But it says, would you consider having a session on R with databases? Would be great if you do. Yeah, sure. That sounds like I could easily do it. I use databases a lot, and not only Postgres. I want to that could be something that I do in the near future. Just a full tutorial on working with R and databases. It's definitely something I would do. So don't worry about it. Blue Resolve. Cool. So here I'm checking if X are full variable. No. Oh wait, I put this again. I'm dumb. Yep, so here I'm just doing a little check to check for any potential errors before going ahead and well, doing it again. Cool. So let's keep going. So now I want to update, instead of updating user info, I want to update exercises, right? Exercises. And now I want to set the set exercises, right? Exercises to exers to exers, yeah. I can remove all of this because I don't need this anymore. Where UID equals UID. So UID, I already have this as UID input, so I can have this as UID input, right? Just to be consistent with my naming. And now I have to, now that I checked that there is a name and that there is no duplication, then I can do the following. I can exers would now equal to exers, and I would append the new exer. And then I would have exers JSON be equal to JSON exers. Perfect. So here, I don't really this. That's here. Yeah, this fine. So here, query interprets, SQL interpolate, so that I have no SQL injection. My SQL will be my query. Age UID would be UID, right? And here, exers would be equal to exers JSON. And I would execute it. Cool. So now I should have this function. It should work, right? So let me open up my server.r. Right here, where I have, where I update my. So actually, let me go back to r/query. I don't want it to return 0. I want it to return my exercises, because I want to be able to update the data once it's written. So input new here, right? So I can delete all of this except for new exer. So UID will be equal to user UID. New exer would be equal to list name. Yep, this is cool. And now right here, what I would do is update exercises, where the connection would be equal to the connection, the UID would be equal to the UID, and the new exer would be equal to new exer. So this is this function is gonna go ahead and update my exercises, but it's also gonna return a data frame with the new exercises. Well, not a data frame, a list. Sorry. So I'm actually gonna use user exers would be equal to this, right? Let me just organize this a little bit. There you go. So if I run my app, shiny run app, there you go. And if I log in, and if let me save a new exercise, so I have no exercise here. New exercise test. Let me just put in an exercise. Yeah, let me just put this image, whatever, copy image address. I close it, I'm done. Login, test, and paste it. It didn't return my new exercise. How come? These are exers. Yeah, so I'm updating. Okay, I think what the problem is. Here in the UI, I have not done the replacement I did earlier. Now it should be fixed. I only did it on my server side. So let me log in, test, paste the image, save. It failed. Why did it fail? Because I'm setting UID, it thinks it's a float, but it isn't a float. So let me go back to the query. So here will be UID input, my bad. And now maybe it should work. Expect, let me make this. There we go. Log in, test, paste the image and save it. So I have my new exercise. It didn't render the image, but I'm guessing the image URL is probably invalid. But oh, there it is. It just hadn't loaded. So if I reload, no exercises, log in, I have my exercises. There you go. So now I'm saving the exercises. Okay, I'm excited. The exercises I saved is now associated with my user. And now, whenever, let me just add a new exercise. Like this, just like running, right? So if I add like here, running, and here are my notes. I need to run, paste the image, save. There it is. If I leave and log in again, did I click login? Login, there you go. I have my exercises and I have my weight and my age. Just perfect. Because now I'm starting to actually have a user profile, right? I can now more consistently, I can now save my data, right? And it's on the database and it's authenticated, right? Because I have this login button, and if I don't click it, it doesn't change. And I'm saving it all inside a string that's a JSON. What I'm gonna have to figure out now is, okay, I don't want this exercise anymore. I want to delete it. So in the next live stream, I'm gonna be adding a little button next to the exercise that would allow me to delete. I'm gonna set up the groundworks for that right now. I'm gonna go into my server.r, and here where I create this, right, I have this, it returns a text div. So I would have to right here a tag list instead of just a text div. And right here, what I would add is an action button with the input ID that would be equal to okay, so I would have to figure out how to then go and observe that. that shouldn't be really hard. I could have it to be to pay 0, and I want to paste del xer. And which one do I want to delete? I want to delete the exercise name. No, but that wouldn't work. So I'm gonna need to limit the amount of exercises the users can do so that I can build this. So for now, what I would have to do, I would have to give it. So here I'm going to do per map. Per map 2, and that y would be equal to the length of user xer. That's right. So why am I doing this? Per map 2 let me set this as the index. So this right here, what it would allow me to do is to have an index, right? So if I'm here having it a SQL length, so I don't remember quite SQL length 10. Yeah, that would be so SQL length. Just here, there we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to be passing an index to this action button. Index, right? Well, I would also have to add a label. Label delete. This works for now. Aesthetics I can work out later. And I would have to close the tags, the tag list. Oops. So every single user xers is gonna have a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until the number of items in user xers, right? So since it goes sequentially, this goes from the first one to the second one. If I have here, for example, list, and I have arg1 equal to high and arg2 be equal to by, right? If I select the first one, it's high, and if I select the second one, it's by. So if I set this to null, all right, yeah, because this isn't not big, so let me set it as test. So if I do test 1, it's going to be high, test 2 will be by. So if I set test 2 to null, and I just print test, it's only going to have arg1, right? Because I'm setting that one to null. So this goes sequentially. Map goes sequentially. So arg1 would be 1, arg2 would be 2, etc. What I'm doing here is I'm having an input button. So let me run the app. Did I save it? Let me save this. Yeah. Run app. There we go. So now let me log in. Now every single one has a, well, this looks ugly, but now each one has a delete button, and I would actually have to set this inside of this so that it doesn't look so bad. There you go. Delete this and this line. Cool. So now every single one is gonna have an action button. So if you see this one, because this one should have, let me make this inspect element a little bigger. This one is del xer2, and this one up here should be del xer1. I don't know if inspect. Yeah, so as you can see here, this one is del xer1 and this one is del xer2. right? Because I'm looping through it. So if I were to set a max of, inspect again, sorry. So if I were to set a max number of exercises, for example, 200, what I can do here is the following. I can do an apply or a per map, it's the same thing. And here I can have from 1 to, let's start with 100 exercises, right? I'm going to do it with per map just for consistency. So per map, that x will be from 1 to 100. And what I can do in the function here, function of x, for example, what I can do is the following. I can have an observer, and what I can do is I can say xer from, I'm gonna do that in the next live stream, but for now I'm just gonna do like what I would do is I'm gonna have an observer right there, but for now I'm just gonna have print x for now. Just close this map. No, but this would have to go in and observe because it's reactive. Yep, so let me do it like that. Observe, and this observe, I would bind the event to input, and since input works like a list, I can do this. Paste 0, right? Del xer, and I can have here x, since x would be equal to the index. This and this. So now every time I click one of those buttons, I will be printing the number of the exercise that is. So now if I run the app, let's hope this works. I'm hoping it will. If I click this, it should print 1. And if I click this, it should print 2. There you go. If I click it again, it's going to print 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. If I click this one, it's going to print 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Why? Because I'm creating new, like 100 observers, and all of them are observing buttons with the ID del xer and their respective number. So what I would do is whenever they click delete an exercise, I could ask for a confirmation, but I'm not gonna. That's I don't think that's necessary. What I can do here is like print. For now, what I'm gonna do is user xer, right? And I want to print user xer x. So if this works as I'm thinking about it, if I click this, it should print test. Okay, it brings me null. User xer, xers. There you go. So if I click this, it should print test, right? Yep. If I print this, it should. If I click this, it should print running. Yep. That's exactly the expected behavior. So what I would do is I would tell it, okay, if the user clicks the button del xer whatever, then what it would do is delete it, set it to null, and update database with the little update exercises, right? So new xer. So I would have to create a function to delete an exercise, right? But that's about it. That's the whole thought process, and I'm gonna do that in the next live stream. I hope this helped. I'm gonna be looking forward to any questions in the comments, and I think this is starting to take a little bit more shape. I think this is a little bit more mature than what we had in the previous episodes. Now that we have actual like user info that we can update, as long with exercises that I can create a new exercise, new, and that I can just paste like any image for now. like this one, copy image address, and then I can have it here, and I can retrieve it from, I can log in here, stop it. So it doesn't intervene anyway. There you go, login, and I have it here. Even if I open it up on another tab and create a new exercise, right? Another one. I mean, I gotta put any notes, and I just paste like this one, for example, copy image address, and paste it here and save it here. It gets added. And if I were to add a new one here, even more, and I would paste, for example, this one, copy image address. It would bring the one that I added on the other tab, right? And that's gonna prevent a lot of errors, just because of the way I have set up the user update info. It's not session dependent. So yeah, hope this works. Hope it's helpful to any of you that are developing your Shiny apps. And I'll see you in the next live stream. Hope to see you there.